Hey guys, how's it going? It's Robert Sislow here, Director of Production and Marketing for Grant Cardone TV. And today I've got two very, very young, inspirational, badass entrepreneurs who started an organic Instagram following company. The company is called Digital CEOs. CEOs or CEOs? CEOs. I've got Josh and I've got Josue here. Josh is 22 and Josue is 24. And these guys are getting started really early. Gosh, I wish I had that when I was their age, but they're going to do it. They're going to do it right. They're going to do an entire marketing campaign with us. And we're going to sit down with them right now. We're going to ask them a few questions, learn about what they're doing, how it works, how they can get started, and how they can help you. So, Josh and Josue, thank you so much for coming to Ask a Pro. Really appreciate you being here. And I just wanted to start off by asking, where did the idea come from? How did this start?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, thanks so much for having us on the show. We really appreciate it. I think it started about a year ago or so. Josue and I were both in marketing, and we didn't know each other at the time, but we kind of just were looking at the future of marketing and how it was working, and thought, you know what is the future going to look like? How are we going to be able to be, have influence and be effective in marketing in the future? And I think we saw that social media was a huge player. And so we looked around, we played a little bit on YouTube for a while, and found that Instagram was by far the fastest growing and most powerful platform out there. And we realized that influencer marketing is kind of on the uprise, and I think it's going to become more prevalent, as time goes on. And so we just really dove into studying Instagram and figuring out how the algorithms work and, how the platform worked and everything like that. And I think that's how it came about, just realizing what was powerful.
I love it. So a lot of people talk about, Instagram and algorithms. For the audience that doesn't really know what an algorithm is, can you perhaps explain that? Because I hear this on Twitter, I hear this on Facebook, I hear it on Instagram. What is an algorithm, and how do you guys work with that?
So basically, algorithm is like basically how the platform behaves and like how it determines what posts to get to the top or what posts go to the bottom. Like that's basically what the algorithm is. And no platform tells you exactly like, hey, this is what my algorithm does, and this is how you hack it, this is what you do. Like you just have to test and see and analyze everything. So that's like basically.
So what would be an example? What would be an example of an algorithm that you guys found on Instagram? I'm assuming you guys use that in your organic development for your followers. How does that work?
So, for example, most social media platforms, every single one of them, their goal is for you to stay in the platform as long as possible. Now, if you're able to keep the users in that platform as long as possible, they will rank you up, basically. So, for example, in a post, if you're able to SEO or search engine optimization, like with hashtags and all that good stuff, if you do it correctly, the algorithm will boost that post up, and you will gain more exposure, and that will equal more followers.
So, for example, a lot of people are used to, or the old Instagram was chronological order, right? The time it was posted, that's how it came, that's how it showed up in your newsfeed. Well, with the algorithm, what you're trying to do is the more engagement that you get on a post, the more likes and the more comments, the higher up it's going to stay in people's newsfeed, and the more easily it's going to be able to be found. So the goal in hacking the algorithm, per se, and using it to your advantage is to create content that's engaging to users and engaging to your following. Because the faster you engage and the more that you engage with your audience, the higher up your posts are going to be, not only in your followers' newsfeed and database, but also in the search bar or in this, the Explorer page on Instagram.
So with Instagram, you've got 2,000 friends, 10,000, 100,000 people. So you're saying that the amount of engagement, the amount of likes that I get, it doesn't necessarily dictate, okay, I posted this photo at 2 o'clock. Somebody else that follows me, because I have a lot of likes, I have a lot of engagement, might see a post 4 hours later at the top of their newsfeed based on the amount of likes and comments that I have on my posts.
That's correct.
So how do you guys gauge what engaging content is for Instagram?
Well, that's a really good question. It depends upon an account, what account, what niche. You really have to kind of know, in a niche that's not super popular, say, I don't know, maybe like something for, hair care products for beards or something, that's probably not going to be a very engaged niche. So what's considered engaged and quality content is going to be much different than, say, in the entrepreneur niche or in the fitness niche. And so you look at kind of the industry as a whole and determine whether or not, a post is getting a good amount of engagement as the industry as a whole. Also keeping in mind, someone with 100,000 followers getting 1,000 likes, or someone with 1 million followers getting 1,000 likes. I mean, obviously you're having better engagement on the smaller one, but it's more of an industry as a whole, a niche as a whole, and gauging it off of what, the big influencers and big accounts are doing.
Okay, so you're looking at the specific industries that people are in, but let's say you've got somebody that, like for me, I do advertising and branding, or Grant that does sales training. That can kind of span across multiple industries. So for somebody that wants to get into multiple industries, how would that work?
It all comes down to marketing, like how you present the offer, right? So for example, you can present an offer to the entrepreneurial niche, but you can also present the exact same offer to the travel niche, just twisting it and telling the story a little bit different. So if you're saying quit the 9-to-5 to an entrepreneur, they're like, okay, yes, I want that. But to the travel people, you're going to say, hey, quit the 9-to-5 and go travel the world, or something like that. Like, depending on how you pitch the offer and how you present it, then it will be more.
You take the same post and you switch it depending on the audience, and you'll repost it. Is that what you're saying?
It will be the same offer or the same product in the back end, but the post and the way you shape it, it will be different.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as engagement is concerned, and how that affects engagement is, if I were to have an offer that was, teaching people how to do Instagram or teaching people how to sell, right? Let's pretend my offer was how to sell. Maybe it's a Grant Cardone course, right? To the entrepreneur, I'm going to talk to them about the importance of this in sales and in their business, right? On an entrepreneur account, if that's my target audience with a specific ad, then that's what I'm going to talk about. But if I have that same offer and I'm, targeting like more of the traveling lifestyle, the people that want to travel, I'm going to be targeting that and positioning that in a way to say, hey, look, you need to learn these skills so that you're able to go out and live or travel and do some of the things that you love. And the engagement is going to be much better when you position that ad or that, that post to whatever it is that they're following. So industry as a whole, I mean, there's a couple different ways to approach that. Either A, have one account and cater across multiple different platforms with multiple different styles, say a Grant Cardone style, or maybe you're someone who's not a personal brand, right? Maybe you're not Grant Cardone, but you want to get onto Instagram, you don't really have a brand. Start multiple accounts. Start one account for, and have engagement in the entrepreneur niche, and another account and engage in the travel niche. That's also very effective. And once again, you just have to take the engagement on whatever type of account you have as a whole.
Yeah.
So for a Grant Cardone style, that would be more for like a personal brand, like a sales guy, like, you align with like your Richard Bransons of the world, or, things like that.
Excellent. So, okay, so multiple accounts. I've actually never thought about doing that. So I want to go back for a second. How did you get started in Instagram? Like, why did you pick Instagram as the thing to do, to build a business, to make money off of? What was that? Like, what led to that moment?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah. I started like on YouTube back, let's say a couple, like 10 months ago is actually when I started seeing success on Instagram. But like back then we didn't know each other, right? We didn't like even work together. But I started on YouTube, and it took me then, I also was doing Instagram, and it took me 4 years to figure like all this thing out. Like, it was like hard work grinding, like trying to figure this, social media guru game out. And I wasn't able to until 10 months ago. And that's when it clicked and I started growing.
And Instagram, I think what really stuck out for both of us is when looking around at other social media platforms, Facebook specifically, right? I had tried on Facebook before to grow a following. Facebook is a very much pay-to-play game, right? In order to grow, you pay for ads, right? It's very, very hard to grow organically. Yeah. Snapchat, of course, was not as big as it is now at the time, but Snapchat is almost impossible to grow, right, without some form of other traffic. YouTube was videos only, and I was not, at the time, I didn't have the capability to do, high quality editing like I do now, and wasn't, a really good videographer, and didn't have, couldn't find really good content for it. Instagram, it's easy to find and create content. easy to research for it. It grows incredibly quickly, and it's relatively simple. The algorithm is not impossible to figure out. It's something that's user friendly and that pretty much anyone can get on and have success with. And so when we looked around, we thought, okay, what's the hottest platform right now? What's going to be big for the next 5-6 years? What's the easiest to grow, and what can we engage people with?
Yeah.
And I think that was the determining factor was us. It was, you could grow organically. You didn't have to pay to play like you did on Facebook.
Yeah. And it was super easy to grow. And when it comes to return on investment, it was like the time investment that we were doing, you get the most amount of it, like return on it. So
for sure.
And you saw that with following, leads, contacts, new people, everything. And I'm sure that the messenger aspect of Instagram really kind of changed the game for you guys too, because now you could actually communicate directly with people.
Yeah.
And stories.
Mm-hmm. Stories. I love Instagram stories. That's my favorite. I actually use Instagram stories more than I use my Snapchat. Mostly because I spend more time on Instagram than I do on Snapchat. But so how many followers do each of you have so that the audience knows you guys are legit in the biz?
Yeah, well, our team has a combined following of 3 million.
Yeah.
Specifically, our team that we actually personally own and manage.
And how many people is on that team?
3 people.
3.
Mm-hmm.
3 people have 3 million followers.
Yep.
How much do each of you have?
Well, about 1 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
About 1 million, just shy of 1 million each, and then our other team member has he has the most, just over 1 million.
Yeah.
And so, okay, great. So you did this whole thing organically, 1 million followers each. You guys got 3 million, and these aren't fake accounts. These are real people. These are people that you actually can talk to. Because I know I get these followers that
follow up the accounts. So
Kobe Bryant and Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, exactly. So now you guys took this idea. You took something that you found grows very well. It works for marketing. It works for leads. It works for brand development. What services? What do you guys now do with this? What do you offer to people? Like if somebody was going to come to you and they said, okay, I want to grow my Instagram following to 1 million people. What would you do? How does it work? Take me through that process.
Absolutely. That's a great question. Mm-hmm. Well, first off, as far as what we offer, we have several different ebooks. Some of them are free. In fact, you can check it out. It's digitalceos.co/freeig is our free ebook. You can check that out. But we also have some paid ebooks. But then we also do a pretty in-depth Instagram course that lays out specifically the exact steps that we have been able to see consistently, like that multiple people that we've taught have consistently been able to take accounts from 0 to 100,000 in less than 8 months. Yeah. And so we have that product out there as well. And then we have coaching packages where we work with businesses and personal brands, whether it's just you as an individual or as a business, to kind of take you through the process of detailed market research and things like that. Mm-hmm. But the process, to answer your question of how do you go from 0 to, say, 1 million in a year or 2, right? The first thing you need to do is you need to very much establish what it is you're trying to do. Like what's your niche, right? Yeah. Who's your target audience? Where are you trying to play? Is it multiple niches? Are you going to do multiple accounts? Are you going to do a personal brand versus a business page brand? How are you positioning yourself? And then after that, you have to sit down, and this is the most critical part of all of Instagram, is doing market research. Yeah. And we firmly believe it is the most underrated and under-talked about thing in Instagram, and that is doing market research for that.
Mm-hmm. And the reason is, like, we treat each Instagram account that we have as its own business. And, like, we say this all the time. If you're going to start like a physical business, you're not just going to go out there and just like put the business in any corner and like hope people to buy, right? You will first do the market research. You will first know the industry. You will know how many people go down the street. You know how many people are going to be, you know all these things, and that's all market research. And that is what we focus on when we're starting an account. In fact, we started back in like 4 months ago. People were saying, oh, like the success that you have is because of luck. You're not going to do it in a really competitive niche like fitness. And we're like, really? Okay, then let's launch a fitness page. But before we launched it, we spent 1 week, 2 weeks just doing research and figuring out what works on the fitness niche, right? We launched an account, and the first post ever got over 20,000 views and 82 comments, like completely organic. Yeah, like 0 followers, zero everything, and it got over 20,000 views. And then combined, the first 5, I think, have over like 150,000 views or something like that. So, and it all comes down like to the market research. And that's like something that people like don't understand.
Well, because if you don't know, you don't know, and if you don't know, you can't play. So
Right, exactly.
take the actual time to look at. So you're doing research on each niche, basically. You're like, okay, well, I want to get into the advertising niche or whatever that would look like, or fashion niche or sales niche, and you'd say, this is what works, this is what doesn't work. These posts are the most engaging. What are your thoughts on actual video on Instagram? That's not Instagram stories, but video. I started dropping content there, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
Video is the way of the future, without a doubt. And we think that video is the most powerful content.
Yeah.
And I think that, and this is a little tip to anybody listening, anyone that can produce consistent video in the entrepreneur, or like consistent viral video in the entrepreneur niche or in the sales niche and things like that, would absolutely crush it.
Yeah.
We had an account that was also is like a sports account, like had sports viral videos and things like that. The third post ever, now mind you, this is a strictly video account. The third post ever on it, we had, I think, like 300 followers or something like that. Got 100,000 views and generated over 2,000 followers in a 24-hour period.
Wow.
So video is very, very, very powerful. I think it's by far the way of the future. That being said, if you have an account right now that's all pictures, right? Just image after image after image. If you just throw a video in there, you are not going to see the results that you would get until your audience is warmed up. Like if they're not used to videos, you have to warm them up to the idea. And so I just want to say, don't expect to have overnight success on videos just by throwing them on an account that's never had video. But once you warm them up to this idea and understand, I think that video marketing is the way of the future, really.
On one account of like that we have, it has like 60,000 followers, and the number of impressions weekly is over 3 million. So
Wow.
Just off of video content.
Oh my God, absolutely incredible. Well, I got to tell you guys, this interview's been very, very impactful. I learned a lot from you two. You guys seem like you know what you're doing for young entrepreneurs. Very inspiring. I commend it for you. Where can people follow you right now? Obviously on Instagram. But where would, if you want people to follow you, where can they reach out?
I think the best place actually, and we'll talk about this real briefly, is Facebook. We have a Facebook group. It's the Digital CEOs Community. And the reason we did that is because Instagram is a fantastic platform for growth. It's a fantastic platform for advertising and for growing an audience. However, hands down, no questions asked, the best place for networking is Facebook. And Facebook has provided a really good platform. And so it was really, really hard for us to try to connect with thousands of people, or hundreds of people, thousands of people on Instagram, and have group discussions and things like that. So we decided to create a group on Facebook for it. It's called Digital CEOs Community, like I said, and you guys can join. It's a completely free group, and we answer questions all day long in there. Yeah. We do weekly live streams talking about Instagram and success on social media. But that would be the best place to get involved. There would be the Facebook group.
Excellent. Absolutely love it. Josh, Jose, thank you so much for coming. They said that they've got free ebooks, paid ebooks. They've even got a training package that you can download, and they'll walk you through exactly how to take your Instagram account from 0 to 100,000 followers in about 8 months, and then millions beyond that. These two guys are the real deal. They have organic, not paid for, not the bot, not the fake stuff. The real organic people that will actively engage on your account, actively do things with you and grow your audience and possibly make sales and grow a ridiculously large brand. Josh, Jose, I really appreciate you guys being here. The website again is digitalceos.co/free IG. I will put that in the link in the description below. Reach out to these guys because they know what they're doing. They're advertising on Grant Cardone TV, and they're going to come back into the studio 3 months from now, and we're going to take a look at Grant and everybody else's Instagram accounts and see how they've helped us. So thanks so much for tuning in to Ask the Pro. If you guys have any questions, I want to see you on this interview with me talking about your experience in your industry and why you are the pro in your marketplace. Take care, and thanks for tuning in.